Hey guys, first Regardsman here, and so I'll be talking about a Marksman Carbine White Scars Chainsword build using the Execution Perk combo for long range and close range damage. Now, the Marksman Carbine and the Automatic Bolt Carbine, these are two of the best weapons on Vanguard and two of the most ammo efficient weapons in the game, and also on top of that, the Ammo Reserve magazine capacity version of the Marksman Carbine, this one actually does more headshot damage than the headshot multiplier version because back in patch 12 they buffed up the base damage and just made it go like through the roof, which is pretty funny. But like now this is de facto the best version for the Marksman Carbine, and having like a 40 round magazine is kind of insane. So for the perk tree here, we do start off with the perk Headhunter first. Headshots deal 10% more damage, moving here into the perk Rapid Health. When your health is below 30%, killing 7 enemies in rapid succession restores health by 10%. Now, on this version of the build I'm using, I am not taking a healing perk. We will give an option for that later, but for now, having this rapid healing is pretty nice. And the next perk here is Home Precision. Equip weapons maximum spread decreases by 50% when firing without aiming. Now, even on the Marksman Carbine version, this one is still really good for your accuracy because hip fire with a 50% reduced spread is very strong, especially on the automatic version. Now, the next perk here is Divine Might for 10% damage buff, moving here to the perk Headhunter and Headhunter again for a 20% headshot damage buff. Then we go down here into the perk Extended Magazine, Divine Might, increased capacity, and the perk here Magazine Restoration, because if you go down the bottom row, you will pretty much never run out of ammo on a Vanguard here, which is pretty rare because most of his guns, even like the Heroic Instigator, they are pretty ammo inefficient overall, and the Oculus especially will run out, but this one, it just like stays topped off the entire time. Next perk here is Adamantine Grip, and the final perk here is Divine Might for 10% damage buff, and that is all there is for the Marksman Carbine. Now, for the secondary, in the run I'll show, I did take the magazine capacity and reserve option on this, but I would honestly suggest just taking the rate of fire version because the increased range here is actually very nice for staggering things like missile cannon Terminators and stuff like that, because when you're playing against Chaos like I was, you definitely want to have at least one stagger option because some of those guys like the minigun Terminators and stuff like that, they do really require you to have at least one stagger option on your build. So picking this up is actually quite nice, and this one's a little short ranged. Now for the perk tree here, I do start off perpetual range first, moving here into the perk Brace Reload, and then we pick up perpetual range again up here into the perk Great Might, and the final perks here are increased capacity, adamant restoration, and of course the perk here Extra Shot and Trick Shot for armor restoration on a 30-second cooldown for killing 5 enemies with one shot, which is actually super easy to pull off in this game. Now for the melee weapon, you could take a block power axe and stuff like that. I would set up something like this, or just go all the way down the bottom tree through here like we usually do for pure damage, because the big thing about the power axe is that this one will move you out of range of enemies to go and grapple back into them to trigger perk effects like Zone of Impact. But on this build, I am taking the White Scars Chainsword because this is still a very strong option. You just don't get that movement tech from the power axe. Now for the perk tree on this, we do start off with the perk here Perpetual Strength first, moving here to the perk Swift Recovery. Heavy attacks restore 100% more contested health. Now on the Vanguard, you already have a 50% increase to your starting contested health recovery on melee attacks, which means your heavy attacks on a White Scars Chainsword will give you back a ton of HP, especially the 8 speed here allows you to bash over and over, so really good synergy for him. And the next perk here is Perpetual Strength up here into Perpetual Strength. Then we pick up the perk here, Reverberating Impact. Stomp AoE radius increases by 50%. Then we move here into the perk Combined Onslaught, down here into Heavy Onslaught. Then I pick up the perk Full Throttle for the Chainsword combo skip, which I do have a video on. And next perk here is Hard Target over here into Majora Slayer, though alternatively, if you want to have more Extremis damage, you can go down here instead for Extremis Slayer, but that is up to you, and that's all there is for the weapon selection. Now for the perk tree, I do start off with the perk here Upper Hand first. After a perk time parry, block, or dodge, you do not lose control from heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. On a block weapon especially, you do want no knockback because getting staggered out of your attack to follow up with your block charges really sucks ass in this game. And also, the perks up here like Melee Mastery and especially Moving Target, these are not very strong at all. And the damage calculation on this perk as well is not even like the proper damage it should be, so Upper Hand, overall the best perk in this column by far. Next perk here is Conviction. When your armor is fully depleted, you'll take 25% less health damage for 10 seconds. This is the perk that actually makes the Vanguard pretty tanky tanky, Conviction is a very strong perk in Space Marine 2 wherever you can find it, and for Vanguard is no different. Next perk here is Consecutive Execution, killing 7 enemies in rapid succession restores equipment charged by 1. The cooldown is 90 seconds. Now, equipment in Space Marine 2 is so damn powerful that even on a 90-second cooldown, 1 Melt-A-Bomb, 1 Shock Nade, 1 Crack, these can solve encounters for you all on their own. Equipment regen has just been that good since the game came out, really, and I won't say like perks like Home Reactions are bad, it's just that this perk is so strong it's the best to take. Next perk here is your choice of Inner Fire on Mazil. Now, Inner Fire I prefer on this build because this one says all team members can restore ability charge by 15% by performing finishers on Majoras or higher enemies, and on a Zone of Impact Tactical Prowess build, you pretty much always want this perk, in my opinion, because it just gives you way more grapnels to actually trigger that Zone of Impact. Though I will say, if you want a bit of an easier time, if you are struggling with HP management, you could take the healing perk here instead. Next perk here is Restless Fortitude. After a diving kick, you'll take 40% less range damage for 10 seconds. A 40% range damage reduction on its own is very strong, but this perk also synergizes very well with the perk down here, Launch Restoration, because this one says using the grapple launcher restores 1 armor segment. So what happens is you use your launcher, you get the armor back, and then you have a 40% range damage reduction on that armor, and when that armor breaks, you have another 25% health damage reduction. So a really strong synergy there. Next perk here is Zone of Impact. Performing a finish where the grapple launcher deals damage to nearby enemies. This perk is kind of insane in damage. Zone of Impact is one of the best damage perks on Vanguard. In fact, this is where the majority of your damage actually comes from on most builds, because Zone of Impact is just that strong. The only thing actually holding this perk back is that the grapple launcher targeting, it just kind of sucks ass in Space Marine 2. If the grapple launcher targeting was better, this perk would be like absolute S tier, God tier, and you know, I'll be real, it still kind of is, but the grapple launcher is the thing holding back the damage of this perk at the moment. Next perk here is Will of the Fight. After a perfect time parry, block, or dodge, you will take 20% less health damage for 5 seconds. Now, the reason I prefer this perk here instead of things like Grim Determination or Combat Readiness is because we already have Inner Fire, so our grapple launcher is coming back very quickly, and Grim Determination is okay. It will count for both range and melee damage, but the big problem with this perk is that you have to have your grapple launcher entirely in cooldown. You cannot just have like 1 charge on cooldown, so actually triggering this on an Inner Fire build can be a little obnoxious at times, and like half the time it'll be doing literally nothing for you. So Thrill of the Fight, in my opinion, is overall the best at the moment for this setup, and parry blocking or dodging happens all the time in this game, and on this perk especially, you will be able to reapply that 5-second duration every single parry, block, or dodge if you currently have like an ongoing 5 seconds, so we're really good for that. Final perk here is of course Tactical Prowess. Grapple launcher can activate a finisher not only on incapacitated enemies, but also on those who have less than 33% health except for Terminus level, and performing a finisher with the grapple launcher restores charge. You know, this is a no-brainer for the Zone of Impact. You pretty much always take these two perks together because you kind of see the idea here. It's just like an endless flowchart build where once you have one guy at 33%, you go into him, you get the AoE off from Zone of Impact, you take that guy down to 33%, go to the next dude over and over and just loop them with these two perks. So really strong option there. Now for the prestige perk options, I do take a Battlefield Awareness first. If it targets within 8 meters, it will deal 10% more range damage. Moving down here into the perk Fortitude, health increases by 15%, and I just pick up both of the armor restoration perks here with Launch Restoration and Restoration, because Indomitable Spirit is pretty strong. It's just that on this build, since we have upper hand, this is already a redundant effect, because any no knockback effect like this will apply to your gun strikes as well, so you don't need this option at all. And Fortitude and the double restoration perks here are very powerful for damage reduction. That's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. I mean, the Execution Vanguard is still the best Vanguard build for operations and hard strats in my opinion, and the Bolt Carbines are very powerful secondaries, or excuse me, primaries for him. But if you want to take like a Melter Rifle or Heroic Instigator, you can definitely do that as well. But hopefully this build guide helped you, and if you like content like this, subscribe for more. And if you want to watch me live to ask me questions about the game or just hang out, you can find me here on YouTube or on Twitch with a link in the video description. I'll send a link to my community Discord. And I also want to say a special thank you to my channel members. Your support helps me make content like this, and as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye. You're hyped for the Chaos Siege mode. You hope it's good. No, guys, I would temper expectations for the Chaos Siege mode in this game. It will probably not be a very substantial mode. Because already the spin-off of a mode that's not super substantial, so... I'm working on mods for PC, so CPU got to run total 4K, get stable frame rate, at least decent settings. Depends on, well, I mean, it's gonna be on consoles, so who knows. What does mobile mean in the description of the stream? It means it's a mobile stream with a shorts format. So you're not in 16:9. That's all that means. Something not what I wanted. I'm curious that's what they mean by spin-off. Maybe the enemies will be the guard or even the ultras. No, dude. You're gonna be fighting Thousand Suns and Tyranid almost guaranteed. There's no way they're adding in a new faction to Space Marine 2 for one chaos mode. There's just no. I mean, think about what they added to the actual game for a second here. You have to add in like executions for all of those guys. You'd have to add in a ton of things like properly balanced for them. I would not expect the mode to be very substantial at all. It's probably just going to be like maybe on the new map for siege mode with some other stuff, and then like the heretic skins with maybe some new requisition items that are chaos themed. I think if people are hoping for like a super expanded chaos mode, you're probably, this is more like a, how do I put this? This is them kind of like saying like this is the best we can do for chaos, I feel, because chaos operations are a no-go by Games Workshop, so they tossed it into an arcade mode instead. What's up, War Chaplain? This is why we bring the Inferno Pistol, by the way, because having a stagger option against these guys especially. Well, I mean, in that case, we should have grapnel, but... Just getting ready for work. Oh, that's cool, dude. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate that. What's your least favorite extremis enemy? Biovore. I feel that's like a super easy answer, too. Just Biovore. Like, what else would it really be? What could possibly suck more in this game than a Biovore?
Death will keep me company while I wait.
Because we just fought 3 missile Terminators, and I think I'd take that any day over 3 Biovores. Because you know, there's a certain like pit that drops in me, in my stomach, when I feel 3 Biovores all collectively plant their bodies into the ground. And you're like, oh. That's just what's happening now, I guess. Which chapter you're wearing says a Raven Guard with a spaceful voice. This is why our character will not shut the fuck up. That's okay. It's just the yappiest of all the Raven Guard, who occasionally shouts about Lehman Russ. Just a big fan. Nothing like saving a Melta and then using out a Biovore and he's hunkered down and tank it. Yeah, the fact they have like 100% equipment damage reduction, like how the fuck does a Melta bomb get stopped by you planting your little like body in the ground? Doesn't make any sense.
Deny the Thousand Suns everything.
Deny the Thousand Suns everything. Can do. That may have been the dumbest thing I did all day. can't move. Fuck. That's giving me a bug there. I think I thought I got the execute for a second or some shit.
Pathetic demon souls.
Okay. Perma stun lock me into your plasma shop in one. Cool. Dude, this fucking Zangor going in rage. Actually fucking toxic. Okay. Where are the reinforcements is my question. Greetings, guardsman. What's up, guy who is the underscore god underscore emperor underscore of man? Guys, I don't think it's really him though, to be honest.
Hellspawn, destroy it.
Yeah, Sky, don't make jokes like that if you don't mind. I'm sorry, bro. I'm timing you out for that. Like,
It rides no more.
that's just not something to joke about here, okay? Don't mind.
Needs grappling.
Is Zone of Impact still OP? Zone of Impact still the best ability on this class, definitely.
Turned around. We give them ash and corpses.
Alright, let's see this.
The data will remain sealed. Power supply to the conduits insufficient. Seek the slumbering generator and perform commands of my installation to awaken
This one.
No, here, we'll
demonstrations.
This place lacks servitors. Find the broken machine.
Alright, Sky, I read from the timeout, but just don't make jokes like that again in the future, okay? Don't mind. That's all. Oh, God. Very awkward position to be in, hold on.
Which generator is broken?
Bro's fine, my bad. Yeah, I know this is a joke, but it's like, I know you're usually really chill, so. Hold on, let me just kill this guy real quick so I can actually brain.
Which generator
Oh,
is
God.
broken?
Right, our next box is like guaranteed to be a stim. We got absolutely robbed on HP in that Helbrute fight. Right, here comes our stim box. Yep. Let's get back all of our HP. I don't want to kill them all too fast. And so people ask me, like, what do you need to do to true solo absolute? That's really all you have to do in this game to do it. Is use your stim economy. Know that when you're low HP, the next box, as long as you have armor and ammo, you are almost guaranteed a stim. That's what saves your life. That's the number one thing to know. But a White Scar almost is a Vanguard. They're being a massive pain in the ass here, though. Thank you for the 20 memberships, Tim, by the way. Holy shit. God damn. I very much appreciate that. So I didn't see that before. Jesus. Sorry if you sent that like 10 minutes ago and I didn't look at my YouTube chat. I apologize. Holy shit. W Tim. God, dude. We are in a tedious nightmare fest here, aren't we? Just endless extremis spawns. I really hope the Vanguard bust to give him like a substantial damage increase. No problem. What do you think about the difficulty in Space Marine 3? Same or harder? Space Marine 3, if it's anything like Space Marine 2 on launch, it'll probably be easier in some ways and like really obnoxious in others. Because you gotta think, the team that worked on Space Marine 2 in the development, they're probably the ones working on Space Marine 3, which means a lot of the balance we saw at the launch of this game might be present there as well, which kind of fucking sucks because
What needs connecting? Traitor Start.
do you think Space Marine 3 will be a live service game? Probably. I think that actually just makes sense for them to do as a company, but then again, Saber is actually pretty consumer friendly where it doesn't make sense anyway, so who knows. Space Marine 2 is practically live service, to be honest. I mean, it is in the sense of like we get continuous post-launch updates, and the Saber creative director, or like not the Saber creative director, somebody else, one of the heads of Saber, they said they don't like the term live service because it implies swindling an audience. So they're fine with the idea of live service as post-launch content. They're just not okay with ripping you off. And I think Saber's a very consumer-friendly company in that respect.
Done. It works.
I mean, fuck, dude. Like, there's not a DLC in this game that's like gameplay related, and they're all under $10. So, unless you count the season pass as like a piece of DLC, I really wouldn't. Are you play the Warhammer Total War game coming next year, FTG? Absolutely. How much skill do I need to solo operations like you? I mean, there are a lot of easy ways to do it, like cheesy ways. You don't really have to be that good to solo absolute on a lot of builds. Trust me, I know. I eat shit in this game all the time. What do you think about Oculus Bull Carbine on Vanguard? It's pretty good. I think the Marksman's better. The Marksman has way better ammo economy, first of all. Like, the ammo economy on this gun is just, like, among the best. Really, both Bull Carbine options are always the best. But this one also just has a stupid amount of headshot damage for whatever reason. We may have fucked up. I think I wasted. I maxed out wasted my crap. We're fine. It's the second time it's gonna be triple missile charge here. Dude, be chill. That's where the rate of fire Inferno pistol's better, because we were like just outside of our maximum range there on that. This is a really toxic arena for these guys too. Okay. That was a lot of HP robbery that we didn't have to deal with. Unfortunately, they put themselves like equidistantly spread from us. And then we flubbed our Inferno pistol stagger. That's okay. I probably should have gone here. What are you gonna do? What do you think about the Oculus? Alright, answer that. What do you think about the Oculus Bull Carbine on Vanguard? I might as well, since I reread the comment, I might as well just think about it more. I think it is like the 4th best range weapon on the class, probably. That being said, I would still take the Heroic Instigator, the Marksman Carbine, the Bull Carbine, and the Melter Rifle, potentially. That's the one that like I would probably put below it a little bit in terms of like, you know, bolter options. Holy shit. Diabolical mouse for lines.
What needs grappling? Into the fray!
Okay.
Finish that bastard, or we will have more to deal. Swapping out magazine. On to the islands. I am done waiting. Try to your worthless book available. Foul magics. Swapping out magazine. My patience for this place wears thin.
Does your finger hurt from spamming yet? Surprisingly, no. No, it feels okay.
Magazine out. Magazine in. Fight your beast. That head is mine. Kill it before it falls free.
why are they aura farming me from all the way up there? Oh my god, they are so high up. What the fuck? The fuck? Huh? What? Well, that was the strangest zoanthrope interaction I've ever had in my entire, like, 5,000 hours of game time.
What needs grappling?
What the fuck is that?
Arming up.
Purgation's the best map in the game. It's pretty good. Definitely pretty good. Well, this is the last potential boss spawn point. And there's a horde coming, so it's kind of unlikely we're gonna get a boss now. That definitely ups the threat meter of the game quite a bit. We still could, but it's unlikely.
Enough waiting. This is our destination. Minion pacified.
Hello, what's up, Mad from Marvel? Perplexing for sure. It was indeed a perplexing zoanthrope fight. I know the Tyrants could teleport. Okay. Just repulsed me? It's been a while since I've seen that move. Okay. We're a little low, but next box should be a sim again, so we should be okay on that. And usually there's at least like one sim in here. Also, the Marksman Carbine's quite good at dealing with this. We get back events, so we're shafting people with Vanguard this time. Oh, we are Vanguarding. For sure.
They are being fed to the rift. To free the guardsmen, starve from open eye. Shut to the eyes, brace the force fields.
Guards, with Tactical Soccer Bull, you made a video on that nukes with nerf tropes and zone tropes really hits for a truck, dude. Yeah, the Soccer Bull rifle is one of the best guns in the entire game to kill zone throws and neurothrows. It's also like more forgiving than the other options, the Bolt Sniper. So on tactical especially, you can do a lot of damage to those bosses, and I find those to be two of the most obnoxious enemies in the game anyways. So usually anything that kills them quickly. Word.
Another ward falls. Cadians, you are liberated. Do your duty. No more wards. Point me at the art the altar sustains this.
Oh, they'll take the melted bomb.
Tear it apart.
The finale here is pretty easy, so we should be good now.
My eyes and ears. Seize the altar.
Soccer ball rifle's ammo efficient too. Well, I mean, what gun isn't on tactical Emperor missiles, right?
Seize the altar now.
Ow. The altar weakens. The altar is dying. Finish it. I will fight until my blade breaks, and then I will draw another. You have sharpened my edge, brothers. I will cut down the arch enemy until my last breath. The eye, rip it out. That's a wrap on that one.
Viridian, Auspex confirms the rift is collapsing. Heretic warp signatures are dissipating across the battlefield. Exemplary work. Return to the Resilient. Have the Cadians follow. Their exposure to the warp was significant. They will be detained for inquisitorial assessment. May the Inquisition find them untainted.
Not too bad at all, I'd say. They went pretty well. How do you feel about the Vortex piece? Personally, not a fan. I mean, I think it's a fine boss. One of the more interesting bosses in the game, really. It is kind of annoying that you can't combo him with certain weapons, but you know, that's true for a lot of shit in Space Marine 2.